Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we're taking a look at Go Collect's hottest Silver Age comics for the week of May 24th. Now, a few weeks ago, I pointed out this article to you guys and asked you guys if you wanted me to cover it, and the majority of you said that you did want me to. So here we have the list this week, and I'm really excited to talk about a lot of these books because how can you not like talking about the Silver Age? But before I get into the video, if you guys could drop me a like or comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, helps support the channel, doing those things, I'd appreciate it. But let us get into this article here today. Now, of course, this article is written by Ryan Kirksey. He seems to be doing the Silver Age articles for this one. I'm not really sure what the cadence is of this hot list. I think it's actually on a 30-day schedule. At least these are the books that have been the hottest ones in the last month or so. And that would make a lot of sense because a lot of the books, as you guys are going to see, are the ones that are mostly related to movie speculation and things like that. But coming in here at the number 5 spot, we got to talk about Journey into Mystery Annual Number 1, up 47 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, of course, this is a book that came out in 1965, written by Stan Lee and drawn by Jack Kirby, that would feature the first appearance of the character known as Hercules. It would also feature the first appearance of the character known as Zeus and the city of Olympus, which of course is the infamous city and the infamous gods of, the Greek mythology. Now, I'm sure you guys are aware why this book is hot in the market. We got that recent Thor Love and Thunder trailer. We got those first looks of Olympus, and we got the first looks of Zeus, played by Russell Crowe in that film. And for that reason, a lot of people have been speculating that maybe Hercules is going to be showing up in the Thor Love and Thunder movie, and that Hercules could be one of the next big, superheroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, when I think about Hercules as a character, to me, I've, kind of enjoyed him as sort of a side character, here and there in Marvel comic books. He's one of the original Avengers, so I definitely have, an affiliation to him as a character in that sense. And I actually do think that a Hercules type of persona could do very well in the MCU. If they gave it to like a Henry Cavill or someone like that, you could really see a lot of comedy gold coming from, him playing that character and bouncing off of, the likes of Chris Hemsworth. But, for me, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to, assume that we're going to be getting Hercules in the Thor Love and Thunder movie. I mean, there may be some reference to it, but even all that aside, I do think that this book, is heating up simply due to the fact that we saw Russell Crowe playing Zeus. Now, of course, we can all assume that Gore the God Butcher is going to, probably kill Zeus in that film. So, I don't know if this book is going to have, many legs, say, after the immediate impact of the film, but I do like this book as a blue chip Silver Age key, and I think over the long term, we will eventually get Hercules in the MCU. And as we dig into the notes for this one, it's interesting to take a look here because, this is one of those square bound books that is really, really difficult to find in high grade. And you can actually see right here, 9.8s, there's only 1 on the census, 9.6, there's only 5. Sale for those hasn't happened since 2016. So let's go down here to the 8.0 range where we can see recent sales. There's 62 on the census. Fair market value has them around the $2,400 range. 30-day moving, however, is around the $2,700 range. So as you can see, this is a book that actually, due to the Thor Love and Thunder hype, has actually seen all new record highs in terms of its sales. And, if you're someone out there who's really speculating on something at an 8.0 grade for a 1965 book, $2,700 isn't that bad if we're thinking that Hercules can be a massive character in the MCU in the future. And then when you get here to the mid-grade 5.0, the values drop off. Census has 67. Fair market value suggests 625, although 30-day moving is only 510, which is funny because in comparison to the 4.5, 30-day moving is around the $600 price range. So basically, it's just kind of whatever deal of the day you can get for this book around that grade level. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of options for those buyers. And then down here at the bottom, not too many books slabbed at the low grade, but typically speaking, when you go onto eBay looking for raw copies of this book, I would say you'd be hard pressed to find it selling for less than, say, $300 to $350 or so. All right, let's go on out to the 4th hottest Silver Age comic of the week. And the 4th hottest Silver Age comic of the week is one that I've added to my collection in this calendar year. And this one, of course, is X-Men number 4, up 47 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this, of course, is the first appearance of Scarlet Witch, otherwise known as Wanda, the first appearance of Quicksilver, Pietro, the second appearance and first, I guess, full cover, if you want to call it that, appearance of Magneto, and the first appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I really love this book. I love the cover. I love the art on this thing. And I love the fact that it has these multiple touch points as to why it is a key issue. But of course, we're talking about this book here today because of the fact that, we recently got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and this book was moving a lot due to, people getting excited for the Wanda or Dark Scarlet Witch character. I really do think that this book has a really high ceiling ahead of itself in the future. I mean, there's a lot of speculation right now that we might be getting sort of a solo Scarlet Witch movie at some point in the future. And I think if we ever did get that and we start to sort of right the ship with her character, because it does feel like, they turned her into the villain, but at some point they're going to give us some kind of, epic, satisfying payoff. Maybe she's going to reunite with Vision at some point in the future. Maybe she will get the happy ending with her kids at some point down the line. And I feel like, this is going to be a book that continues to be desired in the market because it feels like Wanda is going to play a big role in the MCU's future. And as we dig into the numbers for this one, we'll take a look at some of the various grades here. 9.8 has 2 on the census, 9.6 has 9 on the census, but as you can see from the 30-day moving, there really hasn't been any sales of this book, in the last calendar year or so. I mean, we saw one 9.0 sale 1 year ago at the $15,000 range, but let's take a look here at the 7.0 grade where we can get a look at the 30-day moving. Fair market value for this one suggests $5,500, but the 30-day moving is $4,400 and the 1 year is $48. So this one is kind of interesting too to talk about because even with the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, this book has been correcting a little bit due to the fact that, we're on the other end of the 2021 boom and the prices are starting to level off. But, with that all being said, we're talking about, hottest books in terms of volume of sales here. So that didn't stop this book from moving in the market, even though it didn't set all new record highs. Although at the low grade, you can see that in some instances, it has set all new record highs in comparison to where it was before. You see 3.5 right here, 30-day moving is 2,200 and the 1 year is 2,063. 3.0, 30-day moving is 2,300 and the 1 year is 1,900. So again, with some of these Silver Age books here at the low grade, depending on the deal of the day, you might be able to get yourself a steal for that price. But typically speaking, when you go into eBay looking for raw copies or low grade copies of this thing, I would say you would have a hard time buying this book for less than around that $2,000 price point. All right, let's go on now to the third hottest Silver Age comic of the month. And the third hottest Silver Age comic of the month is a very cool one to talk about. Actually, this one and the next one are going to be, similar to talk about in so much that they relate to another property, except we're talking DC this time. This one right here is Batman number 189, up 60 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, of course, this would be the first Silver Age appearance of the Scarecrow, a book written by Gardner Fox that came out in 1967. Now, of course, we recently got the Robert Pattinson Batman that came out just a couple months ago. For the most part, I think fans really loved the Batman movie, loved the Batman franchise. And I feel like there's been a lot of Batman books in the market that have been moving due to sort of the hype and the excitement around that film. Now, of course, one of the problems with the Batman books is that it's really hard to get some of those golden age books. So a lot of people have been moving, in terms of those volume of sales to the, attainable Silver Age appearances. So that's why you have a certain book like this one right here, where it's the first Silver Age appearance of the Scarecrow, a price range that still, is expensive depending on your budget, but affordable enough for collectors to get their hands on it. And there's enough out there in the market that it can manufacture some of those numbers. Now, of course, we originally got Scarecrow in Batman Begins in the Nolan franchise. And so a lot of people are wondering, who the next villains could possibly be for the next Robert Pattinson Batman. Of course, we got the illusion that we might be seeing the Joker, but a lot of people are speculating that it could be Mr. Freeze that comes in, could be a character like Scarecrow, and it could be a character like who we're going to talk about very soon, Poison Ivy. But as we dig into the numbers for this book here, we'll take a look at some of the various grades. Again, 9.8 has 7 on the census. Fair market value suggested to be around the $20,000 range. We actually did get a 90-day sale at the $21,000 range. So, high grade sales right there. Here at the mid grade, we can see 6.5, 114 on the census. Fair market value 650, 30-day moving 650. So kind of selling right in line to where it's sort of been. One of the things that's interesting about this book is you can see that we are at that point where it is starting to set, some of its new record highs, at least in this calendar year. And that's like kind of just a testament to the fact that people are really excited about Batman overall. And then here at the 3.0 range, fair market value $300, 30-day moving, actually kind of a bargain, selling around the $238 range. This one actually has had a correction from the 2021 comic market boom. But when I go into eBay looking for raw copies of this book, typically I can find them being sold right around that price point of, $200, $250, $300 or so, depending on the deal of the day. All right, let's go on now to the second second hottest Silver Age comic of the month. And the second hottest Silver Age comic of the month is another book, like I mentioned, a Batman book, one that is, getting speculated on due to the fact that we got the Batman film. And this one, of course, is Batman number 181, up 64 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, this, of course, will be the first appearance of the character Poison Ivy, a book that came out in 1966, written by Gardner Fox. Now, when we think about all the Batman films we've gotten over the years and all the rogue gallery of villains that we've seen in these respective Batman films, one of the characters I feel like we haven't got in quite some time is the villain Poison Ivy, who of course was famously played by Uma Thurman in the Batman Forever film. And it feels like, with all the characters we've seen the Joker done, we've seen the Riddler done, we've seen Penguin done, we've seen a Catwoman done now. It feels like Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy are those next characters we should probably get at some point in another film down the road. And for that reason, this book right here has been a super hot one in the market. And I feel like a lot of collectors absolutely love this book. I mean, it's got an absolutely great cover. It's a beloved character. And on top of that, there's been a lot of speculation that Warner Brothers has wanted to develop some kind of Poison Ivy solo film as well. So on top of the fact that, she could show up in a Robert Pattinson Batman film, she could also have her own film, or there could be a team-up movie with Poison Ivy and Catwoman and Harley Quinn. That's been speculated on as well. So this has been a very hot book in the market, and coming off the heels of the film, has been moving a lot as well. And as we dig into the numbers for this one, we'll take a look at some of the various grades. 9.8 has 3 on the census. Fair market value suggested to be a 6-figure book at $130,000. Hard to say what that would sell for today, but we did have a 9.6 sale. You see there's only 8 on the census. 1 year ago, we got a sale for $41,000. So it wouldn't be surprising if this could break the 6-figure plateau. Down here at the 7.0 range, let's take a look. There's 149 in the census. Fair market value has it at the $2,500 level. 30-day moving, however, is $2,750, which is actually higher than the 1 year. So this is another example of a book that, even with the 2021 comic book boom, has actually been setting all new record highs due to the speculation and excitement for the Batman film. And then down here at the bottom, still a pretty pricey book, even at the 3.0 range. Fair market value has this at $525, 30-day moving right in line to that, $565. So definitely, depending on your budget, is always going to be a hard one to get your hands on because it is such a beloved book. And when I go into eBay looking for this thing, I see raw copies even at those 2.0 levels being sold right at that $450 to $500 level. All right, let's move on now to the hottest Silver Age comic of the month. And the hottest Silver Age comic of the month is one that is probably not very surprising why it is the hottest book of the month. But this one right here is Strange Tales number 126, up 100 spots. And what is the significance of this? Well, there's a few things here. This is, of course, the first appearance of the character known as Dormammu, but more importantly, this is the first appearance of the character known as Clea, a book that came out in 1964, written by Stan Lee and drawn by Jack Kirby. Now, we got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm going to assume at this point you've seen the film, the spoilers, and so I don't think that it's going to be a surprise for me to say that we got the reveal in the post-credit scene that Charlize Theron was playing the character of Clea. Now, Clea, of course, is a character in the Doctor Strange mythos. She is from the Dark Dimension. She has been the lover of Doctor Strange at times in the comic books, and it was really exciting to see that Charlize Theron is going to be playing this character in the MCU. And so everybody went nuts for this type of book. I mean, so many of the times I feel like when books take off in the market has a lot to do with how they were actually revealed to be coming into the MCU. Like, I feel like if we get, some kind of announcement by Kevin Feige, that creates a certain level of excitement. But if we actually get a reveal of a surprise character in a post-credit scene, that's going to absolutely set the book on fire. And that's 100% what happened with Strange Tales 126. And this is one of those books where, the value of this thing was really attainable for a lot of people because, although it was a pricey, expensive Silver Age book, it was totally in reach because, people like Dormammu, they like Clea, but they were never like a character that, people absolutely went nuts for. So this is one that has really, really shot up and shot all new record highs. But let's take a look at some of those numbers and see those record highs here. 9.8s have 2 on the census. Fair market value doesn't even have a suggestion. Last sold in 2012. So who knows what this would sell for here today. We got to go down here to the 30-day moving average because that's really going to be more of a telltale sign of what this book has done recently. Here at the 7.5 grade, fair market value now suggested to be $1,250. 30-day moving is $990. So definitely a book that has gone up quite a lot in this last last year. You can just follow this graph right here. I mean, it has really shot up over the course of 2021, all the way into the lead up of the film, where you can see the peak selling at $1,200 right in the month where we got the movie. And then, you know, of course, here at the 6.0 range, we got a fair market value of $800, 5.5, 625, 30-day moving, 672. So definitely a book for pretty much across the board has been setting all new record highs over its 1 year moving average. This is even true at the 5.0. So it doesn't matter what kind of grade you look at. Generally speaking, this book has set all new record highs based on movie hype. So a book that is expensive across all grades. And when I go into eBay looking for this thing, even though I used to see copies selling at that $150 price point, now I see everything, even at those 2.0 beat up, tape pulled, terrible looking covers selling for $300, $350 or so on eBay. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Those were Go Collect's hottest Silver Age comics for the month. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys buy any of these books due to the excitement of the films? Have you guys been specking on these characters? What do you think about the outlooks for these books in the future? Drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you in the next video.